Yo, what's good YouTube? Coach JSU here. We are going to be taking a look at an event that actually ran last night. It was called The Clash, brought to you by kfactor. It was a really cool event actually. It was put on to showcase the bubble scene and very interesting results. So we're taking a look at some of the teams that participated. There were a lot of really good teams. All Mid, Accelerate, Belly Bean Boys, which was Patty, Bullseye Bat, Bucko, Circuit Gaming, Empire, Flashes of Brilliant, The Gentleman, who actually made it to the RLCS. But they didn't really have a good RLCS performance. I think they went 0-3 in the groups, and they didn't qualify for the playoffs. But very interesting. You'll see here in a second. Other teams to note, we had Litecoin Gaming, Kansas City Pioneers, which is a crazy team. We have Prestige Esports, Power with Forky, Inibra, and Noxus, RBG Esports, Team EXE, Untamed Esports, NXT. They also made the RLCS as well. Manzana with Luke, J-Russ, and Polo, out of Power. There's just so many good teams in here. Lots of really good up and coming bubble player teams. I don't know if I mentioned Circuit Gaming, but they're insane as well. So in terms of the results, we actually have the bracket up here, and there's a few things of interesting results here. So number one, the Gentlemen, straight up, like, we got to talk about them. So they actually made a clean sweep the whole way through. 2-0 here, they went 2-0 here, they went 3-0 here, and then in the upper winners final here against Circuit Gaming, they went 3-0, and then through the losers final, we can actually see Circuit Gaming did get beat in a game 5 by Flashes of Brilliance with Jacob and Spider, and then in the grand finals here, they went 4-0. So just insane performance. And for them, it's interesting. So they're kind of like in that middle ground where they can qualify for the RLCS, but they can't quite make the playoffs yet. But they're having such good success. They're clearly standing above the bubble teams here. They didn't drop a game. All the games were relatively close, but they didn't drop one. And that really speaks volumes for me. And I want to take a look at some of their replays just to see what it is that they're doing that makes them so good. So we got a replay group here. It's going to be Flashes of Brilliance versus the Gentleman. Just a few key stats here in terms of like demos and stuff like that. Pretty close. I mean, there definitely were a little bit more demos coming out from the Gentleman. We see Cheese with 5, KX and No Mason having 3 themselves, so a total of 11, whereas Flash of Brilliance, we got 4 from Jacob, and then we only had 3 from their other teams here, Creams and Spider, so let's give them a total of 7. So 11 to 7, not a huge difference, but it is, 50% more demos. But I've seen some series where it's like Calm had 22 demos. So interesting for sure. In other areas of stats to look at here, taking a look at the shots, Spider putting on a ton of pressure, Cheese putting on a ton of pressure as well with 9 shots. Mason having a total of 8 shots, and KX. So a lot more shots coming out from overall. We see Jacob only had 1 shot, which is weird, across 3 games. And Creams had 5. But anyways, we can just definitely see a lot more pressure overall coming in through the shots on net from the Gentleman. So I want to see how they opened up the space to get those shots on net and how they were able to get those opportunities. We have the replays downloaded. We're going to go ahead and get into it and take a look at some of their gameplay and pull off and just get a full field point of view here. So far, clean rotations. Pretty even so far in terms of, like, you can see no mention. Interesting there to see KX actually cut through like that across the midline. when it looked like Cheese had the initial challenge. So, I mean, Spider has the clear beat here. Actually, a bit of a misplay from KX. Luckily, Cheese did have a pretty good read on that one. Good clear downfield. We'll see if Cheese gets a piece of this. He does get the challenge. So they are finding each other at that midline a little bit, which is good to see. Actually, so here you can see for sure they're looking for each other. And this was my suspicion here, was like what separates the bubble teams from the teams that are really doing good and like making themselves into the rlcs. So let's take a look at what KX is doing here from his point of view. A lot of players in this point of view, what would they do? They would go for a solo play. They would go up, try to do like a flip reset, or you know, an air dribble, some kind of like solo play to set up the follow-up opportunity. But look what he does here. He plays it off to the right, and No Mansion looking for that pass. The pass did come through a little bit weak, but they do get the beat out of it, which is good. They're finding each other at that midline, which was my suspicion, and I feel like that is really what we're going to see more of as we watch more of the replay here. Their defensive rotations just look clean, nothing too crazy about it right now. Just following the 1-2-3 pattern with back post, front post. Good demo there from Mason. Now Creams he's got nowhere on the rotation, so I really like what I saw there from him in terms of like how he played that. Let's go take a look at his point of view here. So when he comes out, when he secures this demo here, he's doing more than just like, oh, I got the demo, right? It's actually relieving a lot of pressure too. So he gets the demo, and if you actually take a look at the point of view here now, that circular motion of like player 1, 2, 3 has been broken, right? So typically on offensive rotations, you have player 1 and you have a player 2, but player 2 was just deleted from the situation. So now they're all the way back on the respawn here. They only have a 1-2 combo. And in terms of like generating enough opportunity to get this ball out and get someone back on the respawn, the defensive demos are huge as well. You see Space Station Gaming utilizing that a lot, and I'm a big fan of them for sure. If you have the opportunity while you're rotating back and through, get that demo. And he still gets to the ball here, so great play from No Mansion there. And you can see Creams is just off the respawn. Now he's on his back foot, right? That demo, even like 5 seconds after it happened, still wreaking havoc. All right, KX. I was surprised there. I thought he was going to play that to the midline. Good shot from Mansion from the spacing that he actually had. There's going to be a goal here. I'm curious to see how this unfolds. Ooh, okay. Okay, we know there's a goal that's about to happen, but in terms of like a commitment here, all 6 players are in this corner. This is crazy. Like, this is really a full send. KX so lucky he wins that 50-50. Doing a great job on just winning the 50-50s. And it looks like Jacob had a bit of a misplay there. Take a look at Jacob's point of view. On Jacob's point of view, it was kind of a hard read for him, but nothing too crazy. Just good, like in terms of the pass out from KX, it just was like really far out. So it gave a lot of space to his teammate to be able to sink that in. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't see that. So if you look at how he actually passes that out, he bangs it off of this corner post here, right here. And that's going to allow the ball to come out further instead of straight down, like you typically would see. Typically, if you hit it off the top, it's going to go straight down. But in playing that out, there's a greater chance that you're going to find your teammate instead of the defender, because you're playing it back towards your own teammate. So kind of a smart play from KX, to be honest. And this is the second time we've seen KX finding his teammate. So a bit of a trend here. All right, so they are all pushed up here, and it's kind of interesting actually in terms of gentlemen. That last one worked out for them, but this time they get punished, right? They do tend to push up quite a bit. And we saw in the pregame, these stats, they get a lot of shots on net, but it looks like in some situations here, they do get punished for pushing up like this. For this to work out, Cheese has to have a better touch on that. He kind of just touches it and it hits off the corner post here. He's got to get a better touch out so that it buys his team a little bit more time to get back. This touch out is kind of unfortunate, and Jacob's able to just kind of like loop in and then find Spider at the midline. Good play from Flashes of Brilliance to set that one up. Geez, we're going to see here how this one's scored. Oh yeah, look at that. These guys are doing this is a beautiful job from Gentleman. So Cheese comes up, it gets 50'd out, and Mansion, he's got a lot of space to work with, right? But I like their positioning, the way that they're set up on this play. I actually don't know what happened to Jacob here. Let's just take a quick look at that. I was just kind of curious to see why their third man was all the way downfield. It looks like he got up early to try to challenge this one, and Cheese in a better situation further back ends up beating him. A good turn in from, so if you look at the play unfolding here, Mansion turns in, and KX knows there's an opportunity here for two situations, right? Number one, this ball 50-50s out, and he tries to beat out the defender, right? Number two, if it does come off the wall here, Mansion's either got to, he's got two opportunities, right? Let's say if it comes off the wall here, he's got two opportunities, right? Number one is take a shot. There's already a defender, right? Or number two, try to send it downfield here, and that gives you a lot more opportunities in terms of shooting on the net and beating out the defender. Sometimes it's going to bait the defender to move out. But yeah, the way this play unfolds and sets up here from the Gentleman is just beautiful. I love that. I love finding the teammate at the midline. And a lot of times when you're looking at the scoring opportunities, this is how teams are finding the win more times often than not. All right, let's check out a new replay here. There's a goal here. It looks like Creams just gets a dunk on KX. Not really like getting rid of the possession, but not taking that 50-50, especially when you know that it's going to be a high 50-50. You need to take a low 50-50. And if you're Mansion right there and you see Creams challenging like that, it's hard. But definitely this one's on KX. Either take the early flick to try to get the beat, or take the low 50-50, or just play it to the wall. Like, you know, do something that's a little bit safer. This guy pre-jumps so early too. Like, if you look at Cream's pre-jump here, KX got control. He pre-jumps like 30 feet out. There's literally, at this point, there's like 30 feet to do something here. So you could take the low 50-50 and easily get that under him or off to the side. Yeah, definitely a riskier situation. And I feel like Gentlemen are still learning. Like, that's a learning opportunity there for KX. He's probably going to realize in the future what went wrong there. So if you saw that, Cheese, and again, this one we're seeing here an offensive demo. The first one we've actually seen here, Cheese makes his play in, right? So if we watch this, he's here, he makes his 50-50, and instead of just rotating, like at this point, he can do two things, right? Like if you're Cheese, right, you just made your play. Right now, he makes his 50-50. He can do two things. He can just like turn back, which you see a lot of players doing, and rotate. Or there's a lot of players that are now trying to get back on their rotation here. So you can see Jacob is, so is Spider, Creams, all three of them are trying to get back, right? So instead of just turning around and rotating, he actually is going to follow through and try to take out one of these three players with the demo and open up a little bit of opportunity to generate some offensive ability here. So if we watch this play out here, he goes through, Spider's not even looking. The demos that come from behind are almost unavoidable. He gets that demo on Spider. Spider's on the respawn. KX gets a good clear forward. Now Creams is like, where's Spider? You know, he has a bit of expectation that Spider's going to be there, and just a bit of miscommunication on Flashes is brilliant. I bet you if they communicate that, hey, I'm demo, watch out, that kind of thing. You know, you're last, that kind of thing. They probably could have avoided this, but because I think their Creams was expecting Spider to be back, He also might have been low on boost and just not had the capabilities to go up here. He was a little bit too far up. And that situation, unfortunately for them, resulted in a goal. But a good job in terms of generating the opportunity there from Cheese to open up that demo with that play. He knows the 50-50 is coming. He cuts in. Actually, if you didn't, I didn't see this on first look, but if you actually look from KX's point of view here. All right, so he moves up here to challenge. He's the enforcer, takes the 50-50 with Spider, and then he follows up immediately with a demo attempt. Now, if you're Jacob, right? Look at this. This is a scary situation. There's two players. Your two teammates are up. You got KX trying to demo you, so you got to avoid the demo. And Cheese is going to be putting a shot on net. You're kind of screwed. So he actually does a really good job going low, avoiding the demo. But at that point, because he had to go low, he couldn't get up to contest this 50-50. And Cheese is able to put an easy one on net. So again, these demo opportunities that you're seeing from the gentleman, they make their play, they make their 50-50, and then they immediately follow through with a follow-up demo. And I feel like a lot of teams need to learn how to do this and adapt, because it does create such good opportunities. A lot of people just do the basic rotations and it works, but when you're able to take out a player, it just opens up so much more. So yeah, great job from the gentleman in game 2. Let's go take a look at game 3. All about finding your teammates, right? You kind of need to be synced up. Being synced up is huge. All right, so we're about to see a goal unfold here. 50-50'd out from Mansion. And the crazy thing is like the positioning for these 50-50s. Cheese is so far moved up here that he's able to receive this before anyone else. And you just kind of trust that KX is safe as the last man. A lot of times, especially in like lower GC, you won't see people cutting back like this so quick. Like Cheese, he sees the 50-50 coming. He's still patient, but he starts cutting early. And in doing that, Spider also sees it, but Spider's last and Cheese is not last. He's second man. So that allows him to be a little bit more aggressive on his cut. And he ends up beating out Spider at the midline. For Spider there, it's a rough situation being last man and having to be the person who takes that. You can see Jacob though. Jacob moves forward and he's just trying to get like some boost steals, something like that. But unfortunately, yeah, the way this plays out, Spider being last here and then like kind of being stuck in no man's land where he's like, he wants the challenge, but he can't challenge aggressively enough. And this is kind of like the second time where they've kind of been aggressive, but not aggressive enough. So Spider can't make this and Cheese just absolutely beats him out here. A good play from the gentleman. So gentleman moved up a little bit here. You got two players on the same side of the field. Not exactly what you'd like to see here. Mansion kind of realizes that and moves back to assume the third position. You got a 50 here. Cheese is back on rotation, going to be getting that full boost. No, Mansion looks to move up here, but realizes Spider has the beat, so he comes back. Smart move from him. He goes up to contest this, and actually a pretty good play from Flashes of Brilliance here. So you see Jacob, instead of rotating back here, he leaves Creams, and he rotates in for the play on the last defender. So at this point, Spider only has to beat one. He's also got a passing play here for Creams if he needed. And that sets up a pretty good situation for them to score. Creams does move in and Cheese has to avoid the demo. Again, a lot of times we're seeing these goals is because the last man is being harassed or demoed, right? So a lot of these opportunities are being opened up from that. So, you know, you make your rotation, then you follow it up with a demo play. We saw that quite a few times with the gentleman, but now we're also seeing it here with Flashes of Brilliance. And I think that's going to be a common trend moving forward with that demo meta. Gentlemen doing a great job with their infield passes, doing a great job finding each other. A few fortunate goals for them too overall in the series. But I would say in general, they play very aggressive in terms of like their cuts, and they have really good trust on their last man. That allows them to play a little bit more aggressive, but in general, they're finding each other with the passing plays. KX did a really good job in this series with that. Cheese was doing a great job with his demos. So yeah, just definitely a very impressive showing from the gentlemen. Looking forward to seeing more of them in the RLCS. Definitely some mistakes too that they could clean up on. So if they can clean up on a few of those mistakes, they could be a definitely up and coming growing team for sure. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the RLCS team here, the gentlemen, hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to be doing more of these in the future just to see how teams are finding their success on their way up. So yeah, until next time, Coach JSU.